Anyway, I think you're all aware of what we did today. We made a trade of Beno for John Salmons, and then drafted, switched picks with Milwaukee, and ended up drafting Jimmer Fredette at 10, and Tyler Honeycutt at 35 in the second round, and Isaiah Thomas was the last pick in the second round. So I think we really improved ourselves at the small forward position dramatically. We obviously have had John before. He very versatile. He had long stretches where he was probably our best player on teams that were better than the ones we've had recently. And I think with Jimmer, we got one of the most exciting players in college basketball, obviously this last year, but somebody with some outstanding offensive skills and creativity in the backcourt. So Honeycutt is a terrific athlete, led the Pac-10 in block shots, might be able to play and defend a couple of positions up here. And Isaiah Thomas is just a consummate competitor, and he's on the small side, but had a great career at Washington, and real competitor and really skilled.
Geoff, why did you trade down to get to 10?
Well, we wanted to do something about our small forward position. The other aspect of all this, it didn't impact our future salary cap at all. And so we're going to be still sitting here with, if you take last year's salary cap, probably $28, $29 of real room for free agency whenever that starts. But we also got a very, high-quality small forward at a position where we really struggled last year. And then, we felt we could still get a really good player at 10 as opposed to 7, and I think hopefully that's the way it turned out. And so that was what it was.
Geoff, when did the possibility of doing this deal and John coming on your radar first come about?
In the last 2 or 3 days, probably. Yeah.
What was it about Jimmer that you guys liked so much? I know when he was here working out, there was a lot of smiles.
Well, I mean, first of all, he's a really engaging, positive personality. He's conquered every challenge in his athletic career to this point. There's a lot of pride, and he's just an outstanding offensive player, and got a great handle, can create his own shot, has some creativity with the ball, and he's got some size and strength. I mean, he's not tall size-wise, but he's strong, and he's been challenged at every turn, and he's done well.
Do you think he messes with Tyreek?
Well, I mean, certainly his shooting he's going to have to be guarded out there, and in the times he plays with Tyreek, they can both handle, they can both create, and they should be able to play off each other pretty well.
Did the first round, particularly at least the first 10 or so picks prior to that, did that play out the way you thought it might?
Well, we were pretty right on with 2 of the first 7 players, first 6 players that were going to be picked were, and pretty much in the order they were picked. Once we made the swap, we weren't exactly sure what Charlotte was going to do with our pick at 7 until they actually told us. But I think we had it pretty well figured out.
How about Jimmer Mania that was kind of taking over Sacramento? I mean, just being out today and everyone's talking about that, absolutely love the pick. I mean, how does that play into the franchise and kind of help rebuild this good feeling about the Kings?
Well, I think it's important to get a high quality, not only a high quality player, but a high quality person, and I think that's what we're getting here. And I think one thing we can count on is that he will be the best player he can be, and hopefully, I think that can be very, very good.
With Salmons, had you had a chance to talk to him and just his feelings of coming back?
I've got a call into him, left him a message, haven't talked to him. I did talk to Beno. I had a really good conversation with him. That was a tough call to make. He's been a real pro here and played his best basketball here. But again, we had to, really improve ourselves in a position that we felt that, really hurt us last year in a lot of games, and we had a chance to do it.
With John coming back, Omri, Dante, Cisco, and drafting Tyler, are you still looking to maybe make some moves to?
Well, I think we're going to make more moves for sure, just by virtue of free agency alone, whenever that starts, and there will be other additions and changes probably to our roster.
Where did you have Tyler Honeycutt ranked on your board? Were you surprised that he was still available at 35?
We were. We thought he would go somewhere in the 20s. Is what we thought going in, but that's why the draft is the draft. It gets really subjective at some point, right?
What was your take on, last year John struggled a little bit. What was your assessment of kind of where his game's at?
I just, he still shot the three well. He got the free throw line. He didn't shoot quite as well from the field. I don't know. Did you ever write a bad column?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Did you intend on keeping both second-round picks? Did you intend on keeping both second-round picks?
You're still a good reporter.
Thank you.
Nice on that.
You know what I meant.
I got you.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Did you intend on keeping both second-round picks coming into today, or is that just the way it played out with Honeycutt slipping?
No, we were. You always want to take players that you think have a chance, and then you're looking at, maybe moving them or flipping them or whatever. But we liked Honeycutt. We liked him in his workout here. We liked him when we saw him during the year, and he's got size, length, athleticism, and for a sophomore, a pretty good skill level already. So, and then at 60, you just you're taking somebody that you like, that is a competitor and is going to play hard, and maybe you find something.
At least initially with Jimmer, what is your, I don't want to say area of concern, but one question you might have with him, or possibly area you want to see his biggest improvement before he comes into training camp?
Well, I think that the biggest criticism of him was his overall defensive effort or presence at BYU, and we talked to him about that in his interview. He's talked about it himself, and some of it comes down to there's some players that just can't defend. There's some that haven't yet but can, and I think that's an area that he realizes it, and he was counted on to do so much of everything else there, and he led their team to some great records over the last 2 years. So, but that's one area that people have sort of questioned, and it's something that he's going to have to deal with.
Will you bring in a veteran point guard kind of to help Jimmer and these other guys?
I'm not sure what we're going to do. We're going to make some other changes, or additions, whatever you want to call it, and we'll just have to wait and see what's when we start and how it all works.
You think Jimmer?
Any changes? Today, tomorrow? Do you have anything that's
No, there's nothing more imminent. That I'm aware of at the moment.
With the work situation the way it is, what can you do with these new guys as far as working out? Can they start working out? Does it change the time frame with the way the CBA is?
Well, we're going to bring them in for a press conference and that type of thing. But depending on what happens and what's collective bargaining, we won't know until June 30th what we can do after that.
Is Jimmer a guy that can come, you think, after 4 years of college and come in and contribute at some level right away as a rookie?
Well, I think the anticipation is that he's capable of playing some minutes, yes.
Does it affect at all what you're looking for Marcus Thornton? The intention has been to re-sign him as his...
No, not at all. I really think, again, in theory, that Jimmer can play with Thornton. I think he can play with Tyreek.
By bringing in that veteran small forward like Salmons back to the team, is there a message you might be sending to some of those younger threes on the team that?
Well, we had to get better at that position some way. Now, whether that was drafting, we weren't that confident as far as the draft at small forward. Free agency is, there's other things we need to do too. and it was an opportunity to do something for a high quality player that we knew that had been productive here before, and we're still in really good shape going forward.
Do you view him as an improved player since last time he was here? From a lot of player, at least for fans' perspective, I mean, they remember him the way he was when he was here. Do you see him as improved since then?
No, I think his game is mature, but he's become a good shooter, not a great shooter, but he's been shooting the three well. He's been over 37% most years. His 2-point percentage was down some, as Sam mentioned, but he still gets the free throw line a lot. He can guard, and he can handle. So,
is there a concern
when you're looking at 10 and Jimmer's there? Was it a no doubt about it pick, or are you still thinking maybe Kawhi Leonard and some of the other guys that you guys? I mean, at that point you got John, so you wouldn't think Kawhi. But
well, I think because we moved Bano in the swap that, and we really liked some of the point guards that we figured we could address some of these other areas in another way.
Is there a concern with multiple ball dominant players like Salmons and Tyreek? Is there going to be enough balls to go around, you think?
Well, you only can play with one, so there's going to have to be.
How excited are they? I mean, I don't know how if you had a chance to talk to the owners, but how excited are they from the results of today?
Well, they're excited. I mean, I think we all feel that we addressed some areas, improved in some areas that we needed to, and got a really exciting player in Jimmer, and we can move on from here.
One of the issues you talked about, ball facilitator, ball mover. You bring back John with Tyreek out there. How do you improve that area with this group? Are you sort of like we should sit back and wait until you finish making your moves, or do you think that there would be enough movement with this group anyway?
No, I think we're going to add to this group. I mean, the basic group. I mean, we may make some other moves, but I don't know what they would be. But we're going to add to it regardless. And, there's going to be other players.
What surprised you most about how the first 10 picks played out in the draft?
I don't know that it was surprising because, we started to have a pretty good sense, and it was obvious that a lot of the bigger players were going to go early, and, other than Irving. And
Did you have your sights on Brandon Knight at all?
We like Brandon Knight. After Irving, I think, and again, it gets so subjective, but I think Knight and Jimmer and Walker are all quality players.